Guests up here who I'm going to call at their request, Bluegal and Driftglass. Hi, guys.
Great to be on the show. Thank you.
Good to see you.
We're meeting on air, all you folks out there. So where do you guys come from? I know I just got you from table number 71, but you do something called the Professional Left Podcast. Mm-hmm. How come?
Well, we're both bloggers. We both got radicalized about 6 years ago and started blogging then. And I live in Chicago, and Bluegal lives in the cornfield, as we say, downstate. And about 70 episodes ago, a little more than a year ago, we started doing a podcast, and we were going strong ever since.
Wow. What radicalized you 6 years ago?
2004 election.
Say that again?
The 2004 election.
Oh, yeah.
The fact
that one.
So many people could be so wrong in one day. So it was heartbreaking.
Assisted by vote fraud in Ohio.
Well, yes, indeed.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. And is that what radicalized you as well?
Yeah, well, that's what got me blogging. I started blogging Election Day 2004.
Really?
And took it from there, yeah.
And did you meet via the
We did. We met
web
via
sphere?
blogging.
We did.
And,
wow.
The blogosphere is the best dating service ever.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm going to have to take your word for that.
Like Matt Filipovich, Driftglass and I are engaged to be married. We're getting married in August.
Oh,
so.
Congratulations to all of you.
Thank you.
Out there and meeting each other on the web line.
And we owe Robert Gibbs a great debt of gratitude for the name of our podcast, because he's the guy who, the presidential spokesman who came out and said, called us the professional left in this sneering, awful, sort of demeaning way.
That's right.
And we were both sitting on my couch going, I wonder what we should call this podcast of ours. We don't have a name yet. Thank you, Robert Gibbs. Thank you so much for your generosity of spirit and your turn of a phrase.
We will never forget.
No.
So clearly I have never seen or visited your site since we met about 2 minutes before I came on the air. But if I did, what would I find there? Is it stuff to listen to?
Yes, we're basically just a podcast. Driftglass blogs at driftglass.blogspot.com, and I blog at bgalurstate.blogspot.com. But our podcast is a separate enterprise, professionalleft.blogspot.com, and we do a weekly show which drops Friday, right around noon Central Time. And we get to talk for 40 minutes about politics, and we laugh a lot, too. I think it's a funny show.
Yeah, Matt's right.
Matt's absolutely right.
Yeah.
Comedy is a gateway drug.
Weekly?
It's every week.
Every Friday.
We do it every Friday. We haven't missed a Friday, actually, in over a year. We're on our 70th episode, and we are on iTunes also for you iPhone users out there.
And we get emails at 9, 10, 11 o'clock on Friday morning from regulars going, when's the damn podcast going to drop?
Oh, really?
Yes, we have a fan base that we're really very grateful for.
From all over the world. That's the really cool thing about the internet.
I know, I love that.
All over the world. Isn't it great?
Well, this is webcast, this show. And we have friends in Montana, California, other places I'll go off the air and I'll find an email from them saying...
We get a lot of really good feedback from red states. From liberals in red states going,
Oklahoma,
you gave me
Texas.
vocabulary.
Yeah. I need you. I want
Absolutely.
you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, isn't that great? Isn't
I know. It's true. It's why, figures like 51% of the base Republican vote believes that. I just can't. There's more smart people out there than we know about, than is obvious by our media and anything else that we could measure.
And one of the things that we have emphasized on our podcast, too, is not being ashamed to be a liberal, because the other side has made the word liberal such a dirty word.
Yeah, right.
And
it's bogus.
You have to reclaim it, and you really have to own it. And I think we've helped a lot of people in those red states sort of reclaim the word liberal and what their moral values are, and to recognize that they have moral values of caring for their neighbor, and that they can stand up for those moral values. We really try to emphasize that.
And that standing up for your moral values against folks who are sort of waving the morality banner.
Well, there's a huge difference between having moral values and moralizing.
Yeah, very good.
Well, and the Paul Ryans of the world have a coherent ideology. They come out of a very clear, they know what the answer to every question is. And liberals sometimes get trapped into retail discussions of each and every issue and forget this is a moral issue. This is a moral crusade. And you have to fight ideology with ideology and morality with morality. And you can't get sucked into debating, tiny issues that distract you.
This whole economic meltdown that we've been having, I think is an opportunity to have that conversation about morality.
Absolutely.
Right.
Because if you actually are guided by some kind of moral ruler, measuring stick, whatever, you don't go to war. You know, that's not the top priority on your budget.
Right.
So what gets the most money in your budget is what you prioritize as the most important thing to do.
Right.
Whether that's educate kids, take care of old people, both of the above.
Absolutely.
That sort of thing. And, you know, if we stop starting wars and initiating more higher level of conflicts, how much money would we have to be doing this?
Well, and start at the very beginning of that economic crisis and say, we have now proven beyond any doubt that the casino economy does not work.
Thank you.
Let's go back to making things. Let's go back to middle class people being paid a living wage, a decent wage, to do productive work.
Yeah.
And suddenly a lot of your problems evaporate because people have money and schools have funding and parents have stable homes and education gets paid for.
I think a lot of people wonder if they can even return to making things. You know, the whole, Rust Belt thing about,
That's a thing of mine. Yes, we can. Absolutely.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can. The manufacturing economy in Illinois is, I think, third most productive. There's been 26 months of straight growth in manufacturing. There are probably 300,000 people in Illinois who work in manufacturing. And most importantly, this is one of those little facts that I just happen to have in my back pocket. Manufacturing has what's called a multiplier effect.
Of course it does.
Every job in the manufacturing economy generates 5 jobs in the rest of the economy, as opposed to retail that generates 0.5 jobs in the retail.
All of us
economy.
Local first business owners use that same
Absolutely.
Multiplier.
And we can do it. I mean, buying locally, trading locally, making locally, supplier
growing
groups
locally.
Of people, absolutely cuts down on fuel costs. Your carbon footprint decreases.
Sure.
The people who make windmills are manufacturers. People who make solar panels are manufacturers. So we absolutely can. We just have to not let it slip away from us. And it's really important that we.
And we haven't already.
No, I don't believe that.
With all of the goods that are made in China. And
Well, to be a liberal is to have faith.
all right. Okay. Falling back on that faith thing, are you?
Darn right.
Yeah, I know all about that. So, Bluegal.
Yeah.
You said something to me when you came back up about, you could talk to me about Kent State because I had
sure
mentioned
can.
it because May 4th coming up and that is the day. And you said you were there.
I was there. I was in first grade.
Yeah, I was going to say you had to be a babe in arms. And,
my
and
dad-
also, why would that not have radicalized you?
Oh,
of course,
yeah,
because you were
it
in first
absolutely
grade.
did. Well, my dad was an art professor at Kent State, and my
Wow.
grandfather was a math professor at Kent State.
Wow.
And my mother got her master's degree from Kent State. So all that is old home for us. And
But you were actually on campus?
I was in school that day. My dad was teaching over at Hiram College in Ohio that day, and we were rushed home from school with sirens and smoke in the air. It was very terrifying. I went home, and my mother, for the first time in my life, had the front door locked. She unlocked it and let me in and locked the door again. And my 2 younger sisters, who were preschoolers at the time, she had put into her pajamas because she feared an evacuation. The whole town had been invaded by the National Guard.
Wow.
So the downtown had National Guard troops, the campus had National Guard troops, and there was smoke from the
Tear gas. Right.
actually wafting over the town. It
Wow.
was very terrifying.
Wow.
And I turned to the television. My sisters were just playing in the living room. They don't remember anything about it because it was just another day to play.
Sure.
But I saw Walter Cronkite talking about Kent on my little black and white TV, and it was exciting for a first grader to see our town on TV. But my mom explained to me, no, this isn't
Not
good.
for a good
This is not
reason.
good.
Mm-hmm.
And Dad came home, and we weren't sure whether we were going to be evacuated or not. It was really that scary. It turned out that no one was evacuated, but 4 students died. And that was a time when middle-class white people sent their kids of draft age to full-time campuses to keep them from being drafted.
Or
they
shot.
wouldn't-
And
or
shot.
shot. And all of a sudden, their children are on campus where they're supposedly safe from the draft and safe from being shot, and they're being shot. And that really turned things around.
And they're being shot by their government.
Yeah, by their government.
Yeah.
And who would ever think that a Republican president would invade a country without permission, like Nixon did in Cambodia?
Exactly.
You would think that would never happen again after that, wouldn't you?
You would think. You would think.
And you look what's happening in Wisconsin. We both saw on the Rachel Maddow show, which we both thoroughly enjoy.
Yes, he's a good educator.
The girls' school in school in Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Michigan, yes.
They're being rousted out by the cops. They're being arrested. They're being dragged out of their school because the governor has decided to put it on the chopping block. And you see grainy.
The governor has decided to what?
Put the school on the chopping block.
Right.
It's a school for pregnant girls that helps them get into college in Detroit.
What could be worse?
And you see grainy photos. You see jiggly photos of cops dragging kids, pregnant girls.
Pregnant girls
We haven't
into their
changed
cop
a
cars.
bit. We haven't changed a bit.
Holy smoke.
You know?
And the cops put their sirens on so that the girls' voices couldn't be heard as they were being arrested.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. So is this on your site?
No.
Do you talk about that?
The Rachel Maddow stuff?
No, that was
it's
last
on
night.
Rachel Maddow's
that
show. It was
last
on
night?
last night. Yeah, so go to MSNBC.com and
But
watch
everything
that.
else is on our site. Every single thing you could possibly
Everything
want
else.
is on
So
our site.
once again, your site. You guys speak into the mic and tell people where to find
Certainly.
you.
My blog is the Driftglass blog at driftglass.blogspot.com.
That's called Driftglass. DRIFTGLASS.
If you Google Driftglass, I'm the first or second hit.
Okay.
And Bluegal.
Same with Bluegal. If you Google Bluegal, you'll find me right away.
And Bluegal also helps run the Crooks and Liars site, the massive, awesome
Oh, really?
Yes.
Crooks and Liars site. She's one of the key people
there every night on Open Thread. And actually our podcast is always posted at the Open Thread on Saturday nights at Crooks and Liars. So if you're a Crooks and Liars fan, our podcast is there every Saturday night, 8:30 Pacific time, 10:30 Central.
Well, this is really just a very nice opportunity,
We're
particularly
really
because
grateful
you're
that
not
we could be here.
You're not normally in town. I know, Bluegal, you're down in the boonies, as you put it. But professionalleft.blogspot.com.
Yeah.
Our guests today, and probably another time down the road, I'd say.
Our pleasure.
All right, thanks a lot. Let's hear it for our guests from professionalleft.blogspot.com. You are listening to Live from the Heartland, which will be back again next week. Hopefully another sunny day. It is Easter weekend. Go out and play, everybody. Monday night is the Saving Green Together and Mayor in the Neighborhood. So we'll see you then. Thanks for listening. Power to the people.